ask Mr. Bhaskaran to talk about what blockchain is about, Bhaskaran, if you could throw some more light into it.
Blockchain, actually, almost last 24 years I'm in this industry. So it's not a new technology. Maybe there is a lot of myth is going on. Blockchain is completely new. It's not a new. In a technology perspective, it is an encryption. It's happening for last 20 years. And then distribution, file distribution also happening last 30 years. So put together encrypted file systems distributed in multiple nodes or peers, that is a blockchain. Traceability, all the terminology, what I'm talking about, encryption, and then distributed system, and then traceability. All these three things put together, that is a blockchain. It's not a new thing. Everywhere, all the company already using. Maybe it's what is says, in a new era, they put everything together and then they call it as a blockchain. A real fact is, already I deliver speech for international conference also. Most of the people, they say, I want to implement the blockchain in my in-house systems. It's not required. So there is a certain use cases is there. From that use cases only, the blockchain is suitable. So in that perspective, in a technology perspective, technology-wise, a old technology, concept-wise old technology, everything put together, that is a blockchain. So my, what is convey the message is, it's not a new thing. It's everything old, and then we call it as a new name. That is my personal opinion. What about you, sir?
Right, so, the most complex thing in the world can be addressed in a very simplistic way, and this was one of them. But still, I would say it's a complex thing, okay? Right? So, when you say blockchain, how many of you have heard about Bitcoin? Very good.
Everybody.
So, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Why do you say it's a good thing? Right? It's money making, right? So, I would try to, how many of you really understand blockchain very well? I know there are a good amount of technologists in this particular forum, but really do you really understand blockchain? Right? Okay, good. So, anyone of you, can you just lend me a 2,000 rupee note? Any one of you? I am very clear in my ask. I just want a 2,000 rupee note. Okay, very good. Yeah, I'll tell you how you get.
That's the Bitcoin thing.
Very good, very good. So you see, there were two things here. Okay, one person said, "I hope I get 4,000 rupee back." That's the person who invested this. There's another person who said, "Don't block the chain." Right? Okay. Imagine he's in Africa. I'm in India. Okay. If you have to give this 2,000 rupee note, what would you do? Change the currency. Where will he change? He'll change it in Africa, put it in his pocket only, right? He will see a African note or a dollar, that's all. That doesn't help anyone. Electronic transfer, right? So who is involved in between? Bank, na? वो पैसा आपका कमा गया वो 5%. ठीक है? Good. So now, why do you have to give the 5% to the bank? Why can't you give it to me direct? This is a channel, right? If I create a channel which is peer-to-peer, if he puts this block, he writes an open ledger and he puts in the block. And there's something called a public access code and a private access code. And here he gives me a private access code. I put the private access code and I access this note. What will the bank do? Absolutely. That's blockchain. Blockchain is nothing but an open ledger in the whole internet where certain blocks of data are loaded and they get verified. And that's a smart contract which people talk about, which you must be listening to. So in between, no one should break the block the chain, right? So in between, there are these data miners for the bitcoins. They keep verifying with lot of computing power and verifying these small little blocks. They have to pay some commission, right? And that's where the currency gets developed. And that is where the Bitcoin currency comes in. Now, when you put this in the block, there won't be requirement of any this note. He wants to transfer something which is worth the 2000, but it's not a note. I give it to you back. No one mind in between. That's why you don't get 4,000. But someone in between, if he minds, you will get it. Okay? Right? So that's what is exactly about blockchain. And now, any blockchain, if you see whether a currency, cryptocurrency and a blockchain, can they be separated? I would say it's no. But just that particular currency or that particular unit can be traded in different ways and fashion, and that has a value of. So I think now you understand that, a peer-to-peer technology, like he said, which is well coded and encrypted. I talked about a public code and a private code, and no one can break that particular block. And there's a chain. Now this block moves from A to B to C to D. Then what happens? The history is not erased. Punjab National Bank doesn't come in between. Okay? So as simple as that. Clear? So we can use this technology in various different formats, which we would be addressing in the next course of the discussion, and you will be really amazed with the new things that are coming up.
One good thing is there is integrity, so you got your $2,000 back. That's the best part about blockchain,
Absolutely.
I believe, as we will go in. So
The transparency is what shows it.
And no RBI was watching, huh?
No, but I think it still does open up a lot of areas of questions, because the technology itself it can be disruptive. This entire idea of having this transparency in place can be disruptive. As you just said, that no RBI would be monitoring this. So I think one question which comes to my mind is, what are the areas, what are the businesses which blockchain would impact actually? What are the businesses which blockchain would impact? I'll ask Manish.
So I think when I came in, I looked at the topic blockchain, and are we ready? The disruption it will bring, are we ready for those technology, those workforce? And I started getting into it, and I said, my God, the most impacted is going to be me. So we run a company, we do skill development of people. And then we match them to jobs, we provide them internships, we do managed services, and these are all carpenters, masons, CNC operators, manufacturing factory workers. And traditionally, it's a very hard work. So over the years, we have 700,000 people who have been trained by us and placed by us and employed by us. So every time somebody asks me for 500 workers in some factory, I have to understand what that factory needs, what kind of workers will come in, what stickiness will I have, who will stick, who will run away, what kind of skills are we going to talk about. Then I look at my database is single dimensional. I have a guy who has got a certificate. That certificate says he's a carpenter, grade A, grade B, grade C. But beyond that, when I go and try to solve the real world problems, I have issues. So as I was thinking more and more about blockchain and the disruption it is bringing in, I think there is a positive disruption it will bring to me, which is tomorrow I will have data about a carpenter with this history which I just spoke about, in terms of which culture this guy comes from, which region this person comes from, what is the adaptability of this person. So is a guy from Bihar comfortable working in, let's say, Tamil Nadu or in Maharashtra? Where is the best fit? So, and the integrity of the certification and the qualifications that they are carrying. All of these will have a way in which I will be able to do my job much better. The manual interventions and the trial and error that we have are going to drastically reduce. A lot of people that I employ are going to be replaced by technology. But at the same time, the scale that I can achieve using this is humongous. So we wanted to go to 10 million people in the next 5 years. In my mind, it was always, how are we going to manage all this? So these kind of technologies are going to give us this. On the other hand, just if I can take another couple of minutes, you look at Pizza Hut or Domino's, today we have a way in which we order, we call these guys and we say, okay, hey guys, I want this pizza, this base, that topping, that whatever. But tomorrow, the way we are looking at, I think it will all these things would be various blocks, information, data points, and all those call center employees who are taking our orders will not be required. So that is also the flip side.
The flip side of it.
And the thing that we wanted to talk about today was, because blockchain is coming, IT industry needs to be prepared. You need reskilling, you need upskilling, you need new kind of people. But I think that is just a small fraction of the whole problem. The whole staffing industry, the way we hire people, the disruptions it is going to bring, I think we can talk about it as we go,
Yes,
but
absolutely.
that's what is coming our way with this.
So that's a good question. I would like to ask Augie this question about how do you think India is getting up to blockchain? How do you think the blockchain industry, which is coming across from different areas, is impacting India that way? And what is India's blockchain future, do you feel?
Yep. If I peer into the future, well, IDC and Gartner have projected billions of dollars in terms of business. But my personal observation is this. I meet a lot of people who say we have so many POCs in this space. And in across sectors, from banking, finance, retail, insurance, you name it. They have POCs across all sectors, running into hundreds. And not a single project as yet, that you could clearly say, okay, this is a big blockchain project. So what I see is that 2017, 2018, we've been tourists, and we've seen, we have tested, and we have tried. And I suppose 2018 and later is when you can actually see implementation, real projects. And that is India. Now, India reflects the Western world. So let me also give you an example. While I was teaching at one of the American universities, I saw at Cornell, they have this program which is the anthropology of money. And they teach, in the anthropology of money, they teach blockchain. And the same with Stanford, and the same with a lot of Ivy League universities. Which means that they as a culture know that this is here to stay. And that's got to be reflective in this market. And how is it got to be reflective in this market is skills. What are the skills that we need to build today to create a pipeline tomorrow to take advantage of this? How are you going to incubate this, all right? What are those adjacent skills that you want people to have whom you can convert, reskill and upskill into this technology, all right? Finally, to answer your question, I'll give you a very practical example. I met one of my ex-colleagues here, Girish. I think he's here in the audience. Not to pick on you, Girish. So he told me I signed his appointment letter way back in 2005. So as I was walking in, it got me thinking, all right? Today, a candidate or a contractor, all they need to do is to go online, because companies will go and publish their skills. They will publish a catalog of what cost those skills are going to be, and all that is required, including culture and various other things in terms of fitment. And the candidate will be able to go, choose, do evaluation, and generate his or her own appointment letter, his or her own appointment contract. The disruption it will bring in HR is that your appointment contract goes out the window. But what it brings in is transparency across the chain. As you peer into it, you will see ethics and integrity at every point in time. So the human-centric part of this whole thing is that.
Very insightful.
Thank you.
So my thing is a little bit varied. In India, there is a lot of blockchain implementation happening, already successfully implemented in various industries, especially for fintech industry. A lot of things happen. Very good example, State Bank of India, they initiated eKYC firm. They formed a consortium for 27 banks. They started, and then they tried. Some of the problems is that, and maybe very soon they're going to eKYC for all Indian customers, in abroad customers. That is one of the use cases there. Coming to the, what is our human resources, there's a lot of potential is there in terms of how you are going to implement the blockchain. In terms, I will give the examples. Say example, the Veera last session, he says, 98% of the time we will do the background verifications. Background verifications is a very good potential to apply the blockchain. You think it was the Indian context, okay, background verification, we tie up with the small players. They go and give the verification things, whether this guy is residing there or otherwise working the environment. You think otherwise we apply the business in a global context. So how you are going to cross-border verification is that? It's a very tough job, cross-border verification. Suppose you are hiring a guy from India, you deputed in a Middle East or otherwise African region. how we are going to ensure that guy is a genuine guy. Some certification is required. As an agency, whatever it says, normally, 95% is maybe in favor of us. Actually, we drop the letter and then this guy is a genuine guy. But in a client, how the guy is going to be, ensure that guy is really genuine. Whether a background verification is happening in a genuine manner, who certified that guy, there is no criminal records is there. In that perspective, it's a global HR recruitment process. There's a huge potential is possible for the blockchain implementation. Especially HR space, there's a one use cases already started, especially a couple of companies from India and then a couple of companies from US already started. It's basically who is going to be win the race. That's the important thing is that. This is a background verification. Second important use case for the users, individual persons, the internal skills. I certified from some of the companies. I need to project myself, all my certification is genuine or not. Currently in the Indian context, there is a lot of universities providing the graduate certificate. How the genuinity is there? Whether all the certification is genuine or not. As in Indian context also we are facing the problem. Some of the universities, they come forward, they say, okay, you type the number of the application, you say the thing, whether this application belongs to you or not. There is a lot of fake universities there. So how do the verification? Especially this is one of the, important criteria, immediate attention to implement the blockchain in a HR space. That's my view.
So,
Hey,
Vijay.
yeah. I'll give you some, all of us love to do a lot of Google. I'm sure you would go out of this room and do Google and find out. Someone here spoke about Life One, right? Some music company or something, right? We always thought that Kodak missed the wave of film to a digital thing, right? Go back and try to Google and find out what's Kodak One. So Kodak One is going to be the next blockchain of imaging. So if you click an image, no one can take that image. Unless you get onto the blockchain, pay something in their particular currency and buy it. Kodak1.com. Just go back and have a look at it. Next one, in voting. So you need not now have a lot of surveillance, everything, come here, come to my place, then only cast my vote, and then, I steal electronic or paper, I hide it like this and I go back. No, nothing. Just log onto your mobile and do it. Followmyvote.com. Just go to internet, find out what's followmyvote.com. If India deploys that, I'm sure many of the politicians will not be out of they would be out of the jobs, right? But they will not implement, okay? Go to another website called Jack, Jack. Going forward, every day, A.R. Rahman must be crying that, my music is stolen, right? No more. Just go, log in, pay your dues, pick that music, rate that music, forward it. Someone else logs in, he can see who's rated what. That's the chain, right? India use case. Interestingly, there's a good amount of farmer apathy that's going on because governments give loans. Now what happens? The loans do not reach in the perfect manner. If you go and try to take a loan, a farmer walks into a village branch, what happens? For $100, I'm sure he might be getting way less than that. Someone asks him something. Mahindra is trying to work with their farm equipment division where they would say that we are 4 farmers. We have got small little parcels of land. All of us combine together, peer-to-peer technology, do the crowdfunding and buy that one tractor. It doesn't belong to any bank. It belongs to us. I need not pay any Punjab National Bank there. Okay? No LCs to be drawn. Absolute, plain and simple. Charity, where we try to donate $2,000. I don't know how much it goes, but still we do that. Why? Because there's some taxation fellow who's going to give me some discount in my taxation. Not required. It directly goes to who you want to transfer, peer to peer. You talk about land records. When we go, the bank fellow will come and tell, you need encumbrance certificate, you need khata certificate, you need town planning approval, you need electricity approval, all of that. Imagine all of that is there in one particular code. For that matter, Estonia, which is a small country, was facing this problem, and they have deployed total blockchain of land records. For that matter, Andhra Pradesh government is going to deploy this. And now they are having all the trouble because they are not able to find out first who owned it, okay? So that's a different story, right? Now you go to Dubai. Dubai is going to be the next blockchain economy.
No, there's a first blockchain. Last year they implemented blockchain land record.
Yeah. So they've done that, but they're not able to do the first plug up, okay? So now when you go to Dubai, all your financials, all your investments, all your background verification like we spoke about, all your certificate legalization, everything is there in one chip. And that's a blockchain chip. And that can connect to 20 different governments, 50 different banks, 20 different companies that you work for, with all their ratings plugged in one place. So, but point is, it guarantees privacy. So, I know that no one needs to watch. We talk about so much about Aadhaar card, okay? You plug it in your bank, you plug it in your mobile, you plug it in this place, plug it in that place. What are we getting out of it? I mean, what is the benefit to a citizen? The only benefit to the citizen is that bank wala has seen your Aadhaar card, a photographer has seen your Aadhaar card, a photocopier has seen your Aadhaar card. I don't know who all have seen it, right? Now, the other side, there's a world which is GDPR, which is a European regulation which says that even sharing your name is loss of theft, identity and all of that. But imagine I give you a cryptographic code, and that code, you can change it, I can change it at my will. So I think that's where are these beautiful use cases that would come in.
Munish, do you have anything to
Yeah, I
add?
just wanted to add, I think what he has done is, he has effectively taken all the uses that we can have, possibly from blockchain. So thank you for, being so detailed, and the way you explained it, so easy, that I think, I don't know about the audience, but I'm going to learn a lot today and go from here. So sir, you were talking about the HR part.
HR part.
I think since it's a staffing thing, I'm trying to bring in these aspects. I was speaking to somebody, and he was telling me how they are using blockchain. Now, I don't know exactly whether it was blockchain, artificial intelligence, or a combination of that. But the way we do recruitment is, I think, seeing some tremendous green shoots which are going to change the way we do the recruitment. Today, I think all of us in this room recruit some people in one way or the other. The biggest frustration we have is we don't get the right kind of people, even after multiple interviews, multiple interactions. It's always a gamble, the kind of people that we end up hiring. So I think these and then there are integrity issues whether the right certificates are there or not there, all of the things that you touched upon, right? But the way I'm seeing some of these technologies like blockchain can change this whole thing. So if you are a company who has got 4 regions, maybe each region you have a requirement which is different. The same job description is not going to work for you in every location. Now, if you use technology and some of these assurances that comes with things like blockchain, where behavior of the person, various other parameters could actually be tested in a virtual environment. So your environment can be virtually created. You can create parameters that are required in this particular person. Somebody can record with integrity in terms of what the responses of these people are under a given situation. And then you can use that along with whatever else you have said to hire the right kind of people. So I think staffing as an industry, I think recruitment, HR, it's going to see a huge sea change with these technologies. Of course, apart from the fact that you definitely are going to have a lot of churn in the IT industry, where new kinds of people are coming. So
good that you're ending with that, Munish, because basically what we're trying to discuss here is how definitely blockchain is there. We know it. There are use cases across. There are exceptions in India as well. So how is the industry in India gearing up? That was the next agenda of our discussion. How do you think the industry in India is gearing up to this? There are exception cases which are use cases going on right now as SBI.
Yeah, there are a lot of projects going on G2G environment. Maybe somehow the government, state government, they are not disclosing. Somehow the government, they voluntarily disclose, especially Andhra Pradesh and
So you mean
Telangana.
government to government, G2G?
Yeah, G2G is a government department to government department. There's a huge potential is there. Already they started. I name it out of maybe 36 plus states, including union territory. 20 plus states, already they start the blockchain. The reason I'm saying, I'm a part of the NASCOM SME Council for Tamil Nadu region. I'm a National Council member. So I go and interact with all the state governments, all the stakeholders. Every state, they try to do something in the G2D. That is a good sign. In terms of the hiring the resources, how we are going to hiring resources in the blockchain domain. That is a key challenge is there. Especially in the B2B, especially fintech, there's a lot of projects going on. One interesting thing, maybe is a technical perspective. The blockchain alone is not a project. This is not an application. It's an integration platform or integration tool, whatever you call it. So whatever system currently you have, you retain the system as it is without changing the user interface, your business process. You can piece of the data only transact or otherwise put into a blockchain network. So what I'm trying to say is, most of the people, whenever you go for the conference, they ask, when I change, what is that? Is it required to change my application entirely? My answer is no. There is no changes in our existing system. You retain the system as it is, without any changes. Just in a backend, you can interface with the blockchain network. So what I'm trying to say is, you can easily adopt a blockchain technology in a HR space. In terms of without changing your existing system, maybe little changes is there, not entire system is going to be changed. So in that context, government also initiating things, especially department to department. He says a land register department is there. Land registering department and then G2C, it's not required. It's more important thing with G2G is, suppose the registration department is there, and then revenue department is there. There is no proper data integrity is there. They call this a block, some places they call this a district. This is a practical use case. Sir. You go across India, revenue department, they divide the lands into blocks. But if you go to the sub-register office, there says a district. There is a huge difference is there. How they are going to exchange the data between these. Land registration department says he is a owner of the land. But the revenue department is a registration, land owner is a different. How are you going to exchange the data? There is no system in place. So in that area, government already start working. They come up with the integration without changing existing system. That is important thing. In B2B also, if it is a financial trading, we successfully implement, as a Createch, already we successfully implemented 2 blockchain projects for US customers. So what is initially, first point says, you don't change the existing system. You can't able to change the ERP system in the day. It is not possible in a practical scenario. So what we say, so some pieces of the project, some pieces of information, which are the information you want to share with your customer stakeholders. You take that piece, you do some integration, and then implement the blockchain. This is step 1. If it is success, and then you involve more stakeholders. In the same way, you can implement the blockchain in the HR space also. That is my, practical experience.
I think definitely there are trickles in where we are definitely starting, or we are seeing a lot of impact coming in. We will see in the future. In India, there will be a lot of impact happening across different industries as well, including the government. So the next obvious question comes in, who do we hire? Who do we hire in blockchain? Vijay, would you like to address that, please?
See, I see on this particular topic, and with this kind of forum that we have, I've got only 3 things to talk about when it comes to hiring, staffing, skilling in terms of blockchain. Point 1 is obviously how blockchain is going to impact the staffing industry. We talked about background verification, we talked about identity management, we talked about the right candidate and all of that. So that is technology that will impact this particular industry. The second is we are a staffing industry. How do we build this particular talent to supply to the markets? Okay. There, I would see a good amount of disruption. There are 2 things that's going to happen. One is the companies who want blockchain solutions, right? They want solutions. These would be typical solutions, but not services. There's a big difference. So today, I say that, I have an ERP, SAP, Oracle, or some development programs running in my company in the IT. So I need a C++ programmer, I need a SAP implementation developer and all of that. Nothing of those kind of skills are required for blockchain. Blockchain would be a typical digital skill that would build that particular solution and get off. So there won't be long-term service contracts. So you don't need long-term servicing people. So we would need specific skills who would build these specific solutions and get off. And these would be very niche talent. They would not love to work for a permanent offer letter. They would say, I need so much money to build so much thing. So that is what. And third one is, in today's millennial environment, where do I find this talent? This talent may not come to you with a resume and tell that, okay, please hire me, I know blockchain. You won't find that. So there would be people who are smartly available on a marketplace, and maybe that marketplace is also driven by blockchain. Maybe you will pay with a cryptocurrency to them, right? And that world is going to be really, really different. And honestly, you know, since we run a program called the CPSM, Certified Professional in Supply Management, where we have blockchain as a subject, and when we go to a conference like Consensus, or when we go to a conference like the ISM Global Meet, we are finding people coming in hundreds. And they are very niche people, and they know what to do. Walmart never found a blockchain. Everywhere, you know, you will go onto the YouTube and you type Walmart blockchain, you will find beautiful videos, but Walmart does not have that talent. Okay? So they are buying those small little talents, they come, they develop certain things and walk away.
I think Augie and Munish would like to add to this as well.
So I just want to say, I want to digress a little bit, okay? I think blockchain is just one of those words. I mean, it's an important technology. It's going to change the world around us. But in IT, every 5 years, we've got something that comes up. So from that aspect, when I look at staffing requirement or industry requirement, I think the industry is very well versed with how to adapt to that, use it as an opportunity, build the kind of people, reskill, upskill, do all of that. And I'm sure the industry knows already they're going to utilize it. We are actually, it's an Indian Staffing Federation meet. I think we need to look at what this is going to do to staffing. So it is going to be an opportunity as well as it is going to be a threat. Internally, we know for the IT companies what we are talking about. It's an opportunity in terms of new revenue streams, new apps, new applications, new ways of doing things. For citizens, it's a way of life. To enable this, maybe you need some kind of people, you know, like he said, some technology. But what is it going to some people? It's going to let people, a lot of people out of jobs. All of a sudden, you're going to find a lot of people who are doing something who is gone. And then we got, so I think from that aspect, we also need to look at what efforts need to be there on reskilling, upskilling for those individuals, which this technology is going to impact, which may not be in the purview of the topic that you have said. But I think all those things also need to be thought of and need to be worked upon.
Might not be taking away jobs as such, we might be moving them to different jobs altogether. They might be having a different perspective on that.
No, it's not only the IT.
No.
It's the outside the IT.
See, I
so
don't
you
think
go
so.
and then tomorrow, banking. You two spoke about fintech,
Yeah.
banking. You're going to take away and then, you know, what will those people do?
No.
Call center, like I
So
told
I
about the
honestly
pizza.
believe that, you know, blockchain is not going to take anyone's job away. What we are talking about is a secure transaction that we are going to do, and companies would develop those kind of solutions. And in order to develop those solutions, we need people, and are the people. And you know, in today's times where a small thing spreads like a fire on the internet, I would say blockchain would be a quick to adapt technology than the internet, which came in phase 1, failed, phase 2 failed, and again from 2008 it's seen a booming phase, right? So similarly, I do not see there would be a huge gestation period. Like Augie mentioned, you know, maybe today 2017, 2020 might be roaring. And you know, already as I speak, you know, when I'm talking about oldest body, most orthodox body, 110-year-old body, like Institute for Supply Management is getting blockchain in its course. I've seen Amity, he's seen Cornell. It has just spread like anything, and every millennial knows today what is blockchain. So education on blockchain is no barrier, okay? Only the programmers, the intelligent ones, who have a combination of digital idea as well as digital technologies as well as computing technologies are going to be these blockchain experts. And you'll find hundreds of them. But only thing that I was trying to point out, will they come and work for you in a traditional manner that people are working today, like a contingent staff or a permanent staff or something? No. And today the millennial mindset is, I'm not here to go out and make money or be a board of director of your company.
I think popularity might script
I'm here to make money for my skill. And the day he understands the skill, he's going to charge a bill for the skill.
Or give it later.
It's the era of, going and encashing skills, because here we are talking about skills being the new currency, all right?
Absolutely.
Because in blockchain, you
Well
go,
said.
you get your
Yes.
skill, and then there's a token ring, and then you get paid for what your skill is, all right? And if it's a premium skill, you get paid higher.
Absolutely.
Now, what are the skills? Yeah. And what are those skills? They're going to be as diverse as game theory for people to become Please keep me honest here, gentlemen.
Yes.
Okay. So, game theory, info systems, cybersecurity. These are the things that people are going to need to become good blockchain experts. And I had to go back in time, to recollect about a decade ago, when we moved into what you call package software, right? ERP, SAP. There was a whole churn in the industry for people with these type of skills. And we were paying premium salaries to people with these skills. And I see today that is being repeated by blockchain, but in an era where blockchain is as powerful as the internet, okay? And therefore, the growth is going to be so exponential, and at the same time, it creates that much disruption in the industry and in governments too, facilitating things and bringing in transparency as well as integrity. So it kind of encompasses every human aspect of things. So like you were telling me earlier, right? It would be somebody who was going to buy a tractor, right? Was not going to go and, go to a bank for a loan. So 4 of those guys will get together and, built on trust. One guy will pitch the money and somebody else will do whatever, and the 4 of them will form that chain of integrity, and there they are. So what does it mean?
I think the way we transact itself will change. Right?
Yeah,
The way
but
we
look at the redundancies it is going to bring. That's the point I wanted to bring, is that I hope there are no bankers here, but I'm sure that it's going to create a lot of disruption in the banking sector.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's
So
the
the
point I was
banking
trying
sector
make.
is going to be very badly impacted. And I was in a conference, and the Indian Railways IT department 2-3 execs were there, and they were the typical Indian railway services, the premium services. You have to pass the IAS exam and be there. And I was doing a training on blockchain, and obviously when you look at them, unassumingly typical railway kind of look was there. They had this Neela blazer and a very commonly look. And you know what, to my surprise? They have developed blockchain for their ticketing system. They are still waiting for RBI to give a nod, because the currency and blockchain will go together, and that currency would be some kind of a coin. And you will have to buy that set of coins and keep it in your pocket and start transacting, and no more dhokebaji in your ticketing system. They're just waiting for RBI to talk about how this currency can be put in, because railways itself will become a bank on its own. Imagine the number of transactions that happen in India. Imagine the volume and the size of the ticket. The railway budget itself is a big budget in India. So you never know if RBI can really find a solution to that. They're done.
I think-
Unassumingly smart people have done it. Huh?
I think an interesting point you made about earlier than railways was banking, where banking will get disrupted. I think almost a recent study says almost 90% banks are right now absolutely working on blockchain. And I think what we will come up with after a couple of years is a completely new way the banks transact as well.
So-
It will be evolving. I don't think they will be left behind. I think they will evolve into a different way of transacting.
I mean, they are
Also-
changing
Yeah.
today. Look at
Yeah.
the banks in Dubai. I mean, I was there for the last 4 years.
Yeah,
The way you do the banking is
No,
completely changed. You don't see the people.
No, very important,
it's
any
completely-
disruption will make the opportunity to us.
Absolutely.
That is an entrepreneur point of view says, no?
Absolutely.
Any industry disruption happen, there's an opportunity for us. Especially in coming back to our HR industry. there's a very good opportunity for us, but only thing is, no, you can't train the blockchain is a freshers, because no, while implementing the blockchain, functional knowledge is important. Without functional knowledge, you can't implement anything. In a blockchain, maybe if it is a technology forum, within an hour I can set up the blockchain for you. That is a blockchain the thing. So maybe there is a hype, lot of hype is happening. The real fact is there's a one kind of framework. That's it. How we are going to train the resources instead of searching the freshers, what are the resources currently they have in functional knowledge, just re-upskilling the resources. That's it. That is enough. But in terms of business, IT industry, there's a lot of opportunities there. In non-IT industry, especially automobile industry and then banking industry, logistics industry, they have internal IT team is there, but they don't know how to implement the blockchain. In that perspective, right, as a HR person, HR and recruitment person, we have very good opportunity to, as a not permanent employee is not possible here because of the short duration. So as a consultant, we can supply the consultant to try to understand the business process and then implement and come back. In a business perspective, there's a huge opportunities there, but we don't try, maybe my perspective, we try to implement the blockchain with the use of normal coders, 100% failure. So those who are really understand your business process, they can easily implement the blockchain.
I think still early days. I think this will definitely keep evolving, as you said, you correctly said, that there are still a lot of gray areas regarding this. So, so coming to that, do you think mass upskilling would be required in this right now, the upskilling part of blockchain?
No, I don't see mass upskilling is required. He rightly pointed out. Today, how to say, every IT services organization, if you see, we have verticals, right? Or we say that government vertical, energy and utility vertical, banking vertical, these are domains, right? And he pointed out something called as functional consultants, right? So the digital people and the IT people in these particular functions who know the domain expertise, they have to be upskilled to a blockchain technology to bring a relevant use case into that particular function. So that is what he's trying to refer, that if they are upskilled or they are trained on is when. Now, but the point is, there's in today's times, there may be, a decade back, we needed to talk about saying you need to be upskilled. But in today's times, by the time I speak, I don't know there are how many functional consultants are already learning blockchain on their own and having certificates on their own and building solutions on their own. Forget that, when I told you about this railways example, I was shocked. And then when I was taken aback, what are you talking? You have done it. So what is even when you designed the POC, what was the currency did you do? And they told, we have a very high computing lab developed, funded by government, and I'm already doing Ethereum mining. And this side we are talking about it is illegal. That side they're doing it.
True.
Right?
So
if I don't do that, how will I develop the system? Right? So by the time as we speak, they are developing, they're mushrooming, So I don't see that, you need to buy a bunch of 1,000 engineering grads or some other, in typical India language, only engineers can do IT, but now non-engineers are better IT people, right? So you can't get them a bunch of 1,000 people and start training them. That doesn't work.
True. Augie, would you have anything to add to this about skilling?
Just another perspective to this whole thing, right? So while I said that it was the need for transparency, integrity, and also for something that is highly secure, all right? And therefore, we wanted to build an indestructible system, all right? But with due respect to all those people in the blockchain technology space, indestructibility is so much equal to the Titanic. They said that this ship is unsinkable. And you know what happened, right? So while I say that, opportunity is huge,
yes.
But at the same time, security, integrity, transparency of what the system gives all depends on the people in the block.
Yeah.
If the people in the block do not have a high level of compliance to ethics and integrity, the string will break someplace.
And interestingly, without a cryptocurrency, as Vijay was rightly saying, it does not give any semblance to
Any,
this,
yeah.
right?
So why the world is scared of cryptocurrency? Okay, any guesses from the kind of discussion that we had? Pardon me? Fluctuating prices. But what is the price in it? Because he decided what is the currency, and he decided that it should be 10
I think regulatory
coins.
approval is what.
Yeah, just give me a second. So he decided 10 coins. He gave me 10 coins. What is fluctuating in this? If you're bidding on it, right, or what? You're almost there. What is it fluctuating? Of the coins? No, there's nothing called demand and supply. See, I've got, imagine Kodak one. I've got 20 images. To access the 20 images, you log in, you need to have 20 coins, you buy 20 images, that's it. It cannot be 40 coins, because in the block it's written each image is one coin. Yeah, good. Just somewhere little hooked in, close.
No, there is no underlying asset which based on which the pricing or the entire mechanism is based, and there is no regulatory thing which manages all that. And that's the biggest fear for everyone getting into cryptocurrency.
Regulatory body, okay, fine.
And underlying asset, which is very important in any financial thing.
Fine. Okay, here we are talking about, I don't want regulatory. Any other wild questions? Any other wild guesses? This is very interesting now. Why do you think cryptocurrency everyone is scared of? I'm sure most of you are also scared of, right? Are you all investing or not?
Lack of understanding.
Lack of understanding? Yes, quite possible.
The first time the first credit card came out, nobody knew what to do with it. The first time Paytm came out, nobody knew what to do with it. So I think the others have to change.
Yeah.
I think the main thing is lack of understanding. If as individuals we don't understand where we are going with this, everything else is doubt. And doubt would lead to fear. So just like the first wave of credit card, the first wave of e-wallets and everything, we don't know what this is. So we don't know how to transact, how to trade, how to earn, how to spend. With that part getting a little easy, and maybe the regulator part of it coming into play, then probably we are better off. But I think there is also, as we speak here on blockchain, is that Supreme Court case happening today?
Yes.
It's today, right? So
Yes.
there's a judgment which is going to come out whether India will allow it or will not allow it.
Yeah, so the judgment will be delayed anyways.
Vijay, just one more perspective to it, right? Is about since we moved from blockchain to crypto, now crypto is again a bubble that
Bubble,
we hear, right?
okay.
So
Yeah.
what about that?
Yeah.
1,000 plus currencies.
So good. So one said bubble, one said fear, one said unknown. I do not know about the coin, that's why I'm afraid. One said
I think we have a
regulatory
few
body.
more.
Another one,
Technical loopholes.
technical know-hows.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I will tell you what all governments are really fearing of cryptocurrency is the human mind. I'll tell you why. Imagine with a regulatory body, with the currency, I can engineer a game like Hawala, engineer a game like LC transfer, which happened with Punjab National Bank, which after even 6 months, there is no perfect report. How did this happen? Now, if in this particular currency where there's peer-to-peer transaction, human mind can engineer a good number of transactions which would be so-called or termed as fraud. That is what everyone is afraid of. Second is, all the regulatory bodies feel they will lose. And still today, all the regulatory bodies want to have their own power. Visa wants to have its own power. Reserve Bank of India wants to have its own power. American Treasury wants to have its own power. So these are the two reasons why cryptocurrency is really in a problem. Otherwise, there's no other issues.
No, my thing is different. No, if it is any currency, you can see I promise something assured you. If it is 100 rupees, 100 rupees value of worth will get you pay the currency. But in a cryptocurrency, there is no assurance. Because there is no secure, no you and me transaction. No one can track whether I do the transaction a genuine transaction or otherwise illegal transaction. So money laundering. The Indian government voice of banning is money laundering happening in things. So whenever the cryptocurrencies hype is happened, $3.4 billion is transaction Indians, almost 4 lakh plus people. IT department issued the showcase notice to show me your source of income. The suspect is going on, what purpose you make the transaction? Is a traceability. If it is Indian currency, any government authorized as a governor of a respective country, I promise 100 rupees is value this there. But cryptocurrency, who is the owner?
Yeah, true. Actually, Bhaskar, I think no discussion on blockchain will be complete without crypto coming in. But crypto itself, I think, would be a whole.
This is one of the use case.
We can take it forward.
Cryptocurrency is one of the use case for the blockchain.
I think yes.
Yeah, but I personally see that we cannot escape cryptocurrency. It's coming, and maybe 2-3 years down the line, we would have it. Similarly, people said Visa card money. I can simply tell you, even if forget cryptocurrency, let's talk about real money, okay? And why does it take someone to transfer money from A to place to B place 3 days? And there are so many investment bankers sitting in between to earn every hour. And why are people hedging on one particular shares morning and buying it in the evening? What is share trading? I mean, see, when I was a MBA learning guy, first day finance lesson, my professor comes and tells, how do you have to go ahead and invest in a particular company? He said, first you look at company's balance sheet, how much cash they have, how much revenue they have, how much profit they are making, what is their source of income. इतना सब कुछ देख के तुमको पैसा लगाना पड़ता है. लेकिन इधर सुबह उठ के दलाल स्ट्रीट पे क्या होता है? What do? You just simply go and hedge your money in the morning. Lot of speculation happen in the afternoon. By the evening, you take your money out and come back, and then the bank will tell you, okay, कल आप पैसा ले लो. बीच में उसने investment banker को इतना salary क्यों देते हो? So you have done your own Hawala inside with the actual money.
Vijay,
now in the morning, if I ask you to go ahead and give that money back to me in
Supal, if you can bring the discussion back to the...
Yeah, I think we'll come back to
No,
the
Vijay, you talk
discussion.
about it actually, a little portion of the populations. What about unorganized sectors? 80% is Indian unorganized sector only. You can't transact the cryptocurrency with the unorganized sectors. That is not possible.
No, it is.
No, what I'm trying to say is, it's a blockchain. Coming back to the subject, actually, blockchain, cryptocurrency is one of the use case. Yes. But this is a private, maybe a lot of positive things is a downside. But how we are going to use the blockchain for the business to business transaction, that is the important thing is that. Cryptocurrency, some government accepted, some government not accepted, whether really value is there or not, how the is going to be used for the unorganized sectors, farmers, and then normal unskilled laborers. There's a lot of things that it will come, but how this adaptation is there. But currency is not all the category of people, all citizens of India, globally, all the people can easily transact the currency. That is my point of view. Coming back to the blockchain things, how we are going to use for the HR space. There's a huge potential is there, but how we are going to implement, again I repeat the thing, even you go home and then you try to implement in your blockchain your environment, it is possible. What I'm trying to say is it's not a rocket science, you do research for 1 year, 2 years down the line, it's not required. You hire the consultant. Otherwise, you don't have a consultant who has resources with you, just upskilling. Maybe he's taking the training session. Send the training session for 40 hours training session, more than enough. And then you combine with the end of the day, as a technology person, I can say, blockchain is a concept, technology things. End of the day, a Java programmer or Node.js programmer can write the script, that's it. End of the day, what is even Microsoft also, you can use it. So don't think a blockchain is a very big rocket science kind of stuff. You hire the consultant, you're sending for the upscale, and then with use of coders, you can implement the blockchain for in HR space also.
True. I think we'll conclude and open the session to some questions in case we have. I think we have a few. Yes, sir, please.
Yeah, same question about space. 9 terabytes, would that be enough? Or do you think implementing blockchain would require a lot of space?
Yeah, I can only say Intel, EMC, and all other companies will grow up once again. More computing power, more storage, everything is required.
The one thing is what is trying to say is a C2C. It's a customer to customer. It's required a lot of computation power.
Absolutely.
In terms of business to business transaction, nothing's required. Existing infrastructure is more than enough. But only thing is, performance-wise, it is not replacement of your database. It is not replacement of your transaction system, because as of now, even you have a very good server, maximum you can transact 50 to 60 transactions per second, not a million kind of stuff. That is a limitation of the blockchain is that still somehow the people try to come up with a new frameworks, do the lot of transaction. The reason is a lot of replication. End of the day, distributed ledger means replication. Suppose 5 stakeholders there, 5 partners there. All 5 stakeholders going to be replicated each file. That's the only thing. So that in that context, performance issue is that existing infrastructure is more than enough for you, because you are going to make a little portion of your transaction to blockchain, not all your transaction. Very little portion that throw into the blockchain network, it will replicate it to all your partner network. That's it. In that context, extra hardware is not required, extra software is not required.
But
it's open source.
I saw something in Dubai. There was a time when this thing was going from 1,000 to 20,000. The electronic shops or these IT hardware shops could not sell enough. In fact, they had raised the prices from 600 to 2,400.
Yeah, that's where.
There was a backlog of almost 10, 15 days. So there is a huge space requirement, data requirement, storage requirement. We are talking about a different phenomenon. Everybody was just coming in and investing money into this in space, because it's not only about the computing power or the storage. You need to have the right places. People are investing, making it as a business, where they are setting up warehouses which have got the right temperature, whatever, and the various facilities. So I don't know where it is going to stop the way it is going. And if whatever Vijay had earlier taken from 1 to 100, the various applications that our country can have, then I don't know.
Yeah,
what kind of space we are talking about,
In the recent times, if you must have seen, the RAM module prices have gone up. And this was one of the reasons. What?
Yeah, right.
For mining for Bitcoin.
Yeah, just a minute. Yeah, that's only for...
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that's for mining.
No, but my fear is, if you look at it, the way it is all going, it's all a token-based economy anyway. So you're calling it a currency. Tomorrow, any program that I create along with you, there would be a token. A token would be a basis on which this whole program would run. At the end of the day, most of the things which will happen through blockchain would have these tokens, which would have a value, which would again have this mining, which would have all of those aspects. So it should...
Yeah,
I think that was just an interesting side.
So there's a lot of domino effect, okay? There's a lot of domino effect, and maybe, for the interest, if you all really want to know what's mining, okay? So he told about mining. Mining is very simple, that, I can verify how many blocks. For each verification, I get a small little payment fee made, and that fee, all that fee I collect, that is the money, right? You're right. Now imagine railway selling ticketing on a blockchain. So now what will happen? Every time you log in, you keep checking, you keep checking, you keep checking. Now imagine there are some millions of passengers logging in and checking and checking and checking whether this price is up, that price is down, ye kahan se jana hai, wahan se aana hai. So all this is what? Nothing but mining, right? All this is nothing but you keep verifying that particular blocks. So obviously you'll need a lot of computing.
I think, Vijay, for the interest of time, we'll just entertain some more questions.
Any more questions?
Anymore?
We'll try to be short.
Questions on this? Thank you. I think we've had a very interesting discussion on blockchain, and even we fringed around cryptocurrency. That would have opened up another session for us, but I thank Munish, Augie, Bhaskaran, and Vijay for a very interesting session. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thanks,
Thank
sir.
you so much.
Yeah, thank you for your patience, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Supal. Now I would request Mr. Thamaiya, a regional chairperson, to kindly felicitate the speakers. Of course. Mr. Vijayanand Chaudhary, GM Procurement Wipro. Mr. Bhaskaran KT, CEO and founder, Createch. Mr. Augustus G.S. Azaria, Associate Director, HR, IBM India. Mr. Munish Kumar, President Sales Alliances and Strategy, LaborNet Services. Mr. Supal Chanda, Business Head, Teamlease Digital. Can we have a group pic?